I graduated college and the process of thinking. Good evening and welcome back to another episode of Smoke and Mirrors presented by the Sports Hit List. I'm your host, Stephen Polius, alongside Declan Krogman and Greg Polius. And we apologize for running a little late. It was on me for a change. You guys never know that, but it's me this time.
Usually
Yeah, I was going to call out names, but I'm glad you owned up to it.
Come on. It's all about accountability.
Hey, very true. Yeah, so I was running a little late, but gentlemen, welcome. How you doing today, Greg? How you doing? I'm loving this new ring light, sir. Like,
thank you. I appreciate
it's doing amazing work for your face.
Thank you. Today was the most Monday of all time. Just a sad case of the Mondays.
Yeah, I feel that. Understand.
Yeah.
It happens. Hopefully this perks you up though. Deck, what about
let's
you?
hope.
Having a decent Monday. I had an interesting week in the pick'em, so I'm looking forward to see if Matt Stafford can really drive home a big victory tonight, which I think he will.
I mean, he can. It's not like the 49ers are, this incredibly stout defense. They're middle of the pack, I would say, against quarterbacks. And
they've kind of been exposed a bit lately with the whole Colt McCoy thing and whatnot.
I mean, a part of me thinks that they bounce back from that, though. Especially seeing how well Colt McCoy did against them. But while Greg is stepping away, let's get into it because, as I said, we started late, already 7:24. We love to run long on Mondays.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can do this in record time. And we're
gonna
gonna
get to the dining hall by like 8:30. So.
Okay. So we don't want you to go hungry tonight.
I need my chicken sandwiches. Shout out to Keith. He's a Cowboys fan. I can tolerate him.
Nice.
He's a great guy. No, for real.
Let's start with basketball though, and we've seen as the season has developed how the new rules that have affected some of the top scorers in the league when it comes to forcing contact and getting to the line, that the likes of James Harden, Trae Young, those are two that stick in my head right away. Well, the other night, James Harden did get to the line 15 times. We did see Trae Young drop 42 points, although he did only get to the line twice. But it does seem like some of these players that did rely on contact are starting to adapt. Deck, do you agree that is something that you're seeing in the NBA right now? And do you prefer this rule? Is this something that you think is better for the NBA?
I think that what's inevitably is going to happen is I feel like there's going to be some sort of a common ground that's found here. The refs are not always going to let them play till there's practically blood, going by the whole no blood, no foul, stuff like that. That's exaggerated. That's just them enforcing the rules early. We saw that with the NFL and the pass interference challenges. That's the similar kind of stuff we're dealing with now. I think it'll all even itself out, and it'll be for the better, but it's got some growing pains for now that I think need to be inevitably worked out, and the best way to do that is just really through time. So I think by February, March, we should be back to some normalcy, if not a little earlier.
I see. So you're saying that it's a little bit too harsh now, and that you kind of see it, regressing a little bit, or having them dial it down just a tad, but you do prefer this new rule overall.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just like some Goldilocks stuff, honestly, because when they decide to make a new rule, they enforce it over and really overcompensate for, I guess, the rule never being there. And then you just see it really just being overused, and they get trigger happy. They feel like if they miss a call, it's going to set the wrong precedent, and it's a mess. And I think that's what it is right now.
I'm sorry. I got Peter in the chat making some comments. Don't worry, Peter. I got you. All right. We're going to talk about it. But Greg, let me hear
Basketball
from you.
Jones update.
Yeah, Greg, let me hear from you. What do you think about this new rule? Is it something that, one, players are adjusting to, and two, do you agree that it's better for the NBA?
I do think it's better for the NBA. I do, and I also do think players are adjusting to it. I think I'm actually in lockstep with Deck. I think the refs kind of overcompensated in the beginning, but you see guys like Trae Young, James Harden, a lot of people were saying they were severely affected by it. It was just these guys are too good for it to hinder their game for that long. So it's just a matter of time before they actually, figured it out. And as we could see, Trae Young went ham against, the defending champs last night.
He did indeed.
Yeah.
And
shout out to dropping dimes.
Hold on. He did that though, but when he only went to the line twice. That was the difference though. So he had 26 attempts. He drained 16 of them with 8 threes. So the heavy lifting was done the other side.
I do like that, they're trying to get rid of the unnatural movement, because I felt it was cheap. It was cheap points.
Yeah.
I
thought Steve Nash's point on it was very accurate.
What did he say?
He said that he just thought it wasn't basketball.
I could see that.
Yeah. Well, we have one more opinion that I actually want to bring to the table right now, and I'm going to let him in. That is our very own boss man, Carl Coulange, who has a plethora of opinions. So
are we
I'm
gonna
actually
get the phone or the
thinks.
computer?
Oh, he's on the phone, and we're looking sideways now. You want to get that in the landscape, Carl? There we go.
For a guy that spends his time in this industry, I swear it takes forever for Carl to figure this out.
For some reason, every time I have to come on this show, my shit wants to act up and my computer doesn't want to load.
Wow, Carl, you got a ring light too? Woo.
I do,
right
but it's not. You may see another name come in. If another name pops up, just let me in on the other name, because that's my computer. That's taking forever to load. So I tried to do the double duty. So how you guys?
Well, we appreciate you for trying to come in expeditiously. All right.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Using that SAT word. I like it.
Hey, see, if T.I. could use it, I could use it. So
shots.
Fair point.
So I'm not sure if you heard, but we're talking about
the rule change.
Yes, the rule change in the NBA, and what your thoughts are, because we are seeing some of these players adapting. Do you believe that they're actually adapting this quickly? And do you agree with the rule?
I agree with the rule, man. There's not one NBA fan who can sit here and possibly tell me they want to sit there and watch a guy go to the free throw line 20 times in the game and watch them purposely lean into the defender to draw the contact. How many times are we watching a playoff game, or we're watching a game and we sitting here like, what the hell just happened? And we consistently do it. And they've been doing this for years.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that the NBA kind of took a look at it and said, all right, you guys are going to stop doing this now just to get the easy contact. Let them play. They got rid of the hand check, and we were upset about that. And we see how the refs call the technical fouls, and we were really upset about that. And that changed since the malice at the Palace. So finally, I think they're allowing these guys to play games. And I think Shaq said it best. I know Greg doesn't like what Shaq has to say, or any of the former players, but he said the problem.
Why you come on here and do that, man? Why do you?
Because it's true. I have to give people context.
No.
Wait till Greg blames the media for something later.
Listen. But Shaq said it best though. Shaq said, it's consistency. The problem that the players have is you're going to make one call on one end, do it on the other end of the floor. That's the only problem I think the players have, is that there's not enough consistency with the calls. Like, there's a chance where a player gets a call and on the other end they don't get it. We know in the NBA there's something called a makeup call. If a ref misses a call on one end, they're going to make it up at the other end. I don't think that's fair either. So
that's not just in the NBA. It happens in baseball too.
Right. So I think I think the players just want some level of consistency when it comes to their calls. That's all they're asking for, is that you're going to call it on one end, call it on the other. But I love the rule change. Again, I think we see them play straight up, and there are times where the game is decided by free throws, and we're tired of seeing that. So just let them play.
Also, this is just for you guys, right? I don't know if you guys watch the Sunday show, Steph and Deck, but this is the second time in less than 72 hours or whatever that Carl has misquoted me or us.
Wow.
I did not misquote anybody. I heard what I said. I know what I heard.
No. That's the problem. What you heard and then what you translated didn't even mesh. Now, what he just said is, I don't like what Shaq has to say. That is not
or any
accurate.
former players or any
exactly, or any former
players. It wasn't the Shaq part because you've disagreed with him. It was the other former players.
It's like
that was a 15-yard penalty.
It goes topic by topic. I do not just discount everything every former player has to say. When they say
I've
silly
never
things,
heard you reinforce what a player has to say in the NBA.
That's not true. That's not
no,
true.
He is so pro player, he goes the other way. That's not even accurate.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what?
I almost like the lighting on your phone better. I'm just saying.
Carl just came on our show to just sit here and lie.
I'm not lying.
Two Carls. This is actually really funny.
What he said, we went on our show on Friday when Brandon and Andrew came on, and that we essentially said Mike White is the second coming of Tom Brady because of how he got hurt, which is not
Falco
what we were
said
saying.
that.
Falco did say that.
Thank you.
It was mentioned.
No. But listen, I know what's called trans. Do you want me to start
say Greg, Steph, and Declan?
Like Aaron Rodgers, you were being deceitful.
Let me ask you a question. Do you want me to start transcribing your shows? Because I have the capability to start transcribing.
Go ahead.
I mean, do it. I don't mind.
If you want me to start transcribing, I can transcribe and pull what you guys say.
Yes,
please do.
Come on, man. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Come on. But honestly, though, when it comes to the rule change, I think any fan is not going to like. We've all sat there and watched the basketball game, and we're like, really? You're really going to lean into the defender to draw the contact, especially when the game is on the line? Yeah. Come on, play straight up. And I think this allows for the game to play straight up and stop it. That's all I basically have to say about it.
I can agree with that, Deck. You have something you want to add?
Yeah, I always notice one thing would be interesting is that if the players are doing that like little cheap foul thing, the way they try to get that throughout the game and it gets called, then you tend to see that in the big clutch moments they try to do it and it doesn't get called, and then the whole outrage goes the other way as to why didn't he call it, and then that sparks the whole debate about is it legitimate or not.
Yeah, it's the consistency factor. Again, it's like you're going to make the call. Well, and again, I think. And like the playoffs are definitely ref differently. Like we've all seen,
absolutely.
Right? Like the playoffs, sometimes they let them play, and I'm just like, oh, they let that get away. But then other times they don't let them play, and you're sitting there like, oh, what are you doing? So, and I'm not one to sit here and complain about refs. I know we can go into a whole Tony Brothers rant about how many, what's a record with when Chris Paul plays or
why don't you just say you're not Mr. Numbers? I mean, you can call names here.
Oh yeah, I'm not Mr. Numbers because Andres can literally tell you what ref refereed what game when he refereed it, and
it's actually kind of crazy.
It is crazy, and
that's that soccer fan
he's
stuff.
Like that's a savant though with that,
right? And again, if you're one to believe in conspiracy theories, there is a theory that when I guess Scott Foster referees Chris Paul's games, he loses in the playoffs. Like his record is a losing record. Same thing with I think Tony Brothers against the Celtics or whatever. But I don't want to believe in that because you still have to play the game. You still have to put the ball in the basket. So I'm not one to sit here and make excuses about referees. There are some questionable calls, but I like to believe that calls are made fairly. And this is what the referee's jobs are supposed to do. But there is an entire theory about it, which is pretty wild if you think about it.
It's nuts. Like he's so good with the numbers, and then he goes out and he still thinks Juan Soto is going to win MVP. Like it's
shots.
Nah, joking.
Let's
I picked Juan Soto.
We need to move. I want to move on to the next topic, which is
Warriors.
Please technically some flowers for Greg. Yes. All right. Because the Grizzlies did beat the Warriors. All right. And I'm sure you were jumping for joy, Greg. You and your Grizzlies got a nice little win. All right.
When did they beat the Warriors?
It was a few days
last night.
No, that was Charlotte. That was Charlotte.
You're right. The Hornets were last night.
Okay.
Yeah, Charlotte was last night.
But it's 117 to 112. All right. It's Ja's looking great, right? You're happy about your Grizzlies. Now I'll say this. I'm clearly on record saying 72-10. What is that? The second loss for the Warriors? The third?
I think it's the third.
I think it's the third.
With Charlotte, yeah.
Time out. They lost to the
of the way
Grizzlies. Wait, hold on.
You just looking at now?
No, wait. Did they? Because their record is saying that they're 11-2.
No, they beat the Grizzlies late. They came back late and they lost to the Hornets. I think you're confusing the Grizzlies and the Hornets.
I'm sorry, that's what it is.
Okay, so there are 2 losses. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
But the Grizzlies played them tough. It was a tough game. It wasn't a blowout.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I got the two.
Okay,
Ja did play well, but I believe Desmond Bane and DeAnthony Melton did not show up. Which is why Garrison probably dropped Melton in fantasy.
But I do want to bring up this question, right? Because I'm very I'm high on Golden State, and there are people who look at Golden State, see how they're playing, and saying like they're gonna go all the way, right? They're going to the postseason. They have a chance at taking this. And I want to know from here on the panel, do we think it's too early to make that assumption based on how they've been playing? All right, Carl, ready to put his answer in. Carl, please continue.
No, it's not. And I think we do this as NBA fans. We'll watch a team go on a 10-game winning streak.
Y'all are ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous when you know, and this is watching basketball. This is not the Atlanta Hawks here. We're talking about Wardell, Stephen.
Disrespectful.
Listen, we're not talking. We're not talking. Listen, the Hawks team go on a 10-game winning streak. This is Stephen Curry. You can call me biased. You can call me crazy. We've seen them do this.
Can I call you both?
You can call me whatever you want to call me. I don't care. I'm just letting you know we've seen this both. And Klay Thompson hasn't even played a game yet, and James hasn't even played a game yet.
Klay apparently looks very good in practice.
Like what are we talking about here? Again, this is one thing when we're talking about a team that's like not formidable to be a championship contender, but the Warriors have done this before. So why are we not going to sit here and say, oh, they can't get to the finals when you have teams in the Western Conference still trying to figure it out? Tell me what other team right now looks like they're championship contenders. You're going to tell me the Lakers? No. You're going to tell me Utah? No. You're going to tell me Dallas? No. You're going to tell me Phoenix?
Oh,
no.
Carl.
Like, what are we talking about? We're talking basketball. When we watch the games and see Steph playing, Steph is an MVP candidate right now, along with Kevin Durant.
Straight up.
Stop it. Like, let's stop the nonsense.
Ja Morant's also MVP candidate. So.
His team is not 10-2.
Greg, please share your thoughts.
Why do NBA fans constantly come on Sports Hitler shows and show their ass? Why do they
I'm not
do
showing
this?
my ass?
Because hey, listen to what you just said. You said the Warriors are a championship caliber team. They're not the Atlanta Hawks, who just beat the defending champs handily, I might add, with their best player having a Steph Curry-like game. You're talking about he's not Wardell. He just went for 42, 10, and 8 and hit 8 threes.
The Bucks have been struggling most of the season, though. That is one thing to know.
But what I'm saying is,
and there's no Middleton, right? And Chris Middleton's also still out.
No Chris, and I mean the Hawks also lost DeAndre Hunter, he's a big part of their rotation.
Yeah.
So the Atlanta Hawks was the wrong team to use, Carl. You're just chatting at this point.
No, I'm not chatting because
what I'm saying is
we're going record wise because the
Bucks.
Carl,
let him finish. Carl.
You're right.
My point is, it's too early. When you have these long, drawn out seasons that are 82 plus games, talking about finals talk. And this is another thing about the NBA. The NBA talks finals talks this early because of the lack of parity in the league. But the last couple of years, there's been more parity. So this is why I'm saying it is too early to start talking about finals. And Carl, you brought up a point that the schedule gets harder after football season, right?
That's true. I do. But I know what I see. Sorry.
I know what I see.
I'm watching the Warriors. I'm watching Steph Curry have 50 points. What are we talking about? Come on, guys. Let's stop.
That was a Stephen A. Smith moment, for real. What are we talking about?
What are we talking about? It's one thing. We're talking
I'm not having a good day.
Like, come on, Steph Curry. You really
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
You're best against Steph right now?
You think when Kawhi comes back, that won't make a difference for the Clippers? That won't matter?
No. Because he's going to be on
Ziggy, you heard that, right? Ziggy, you heard that. That was
it.
By the way, did you guys hear Pat Beverly saying that they turned LA into a Clipper city from a Lakers city?
Ridiculous. I'm not even paying attention to him.
But honestly, speaking, but you know what? Honestly speaking, basketball, Steph Curry's just a joy to watch. I mean,
I don't disagree. Yes, he is.
We all miss those Warriors.
Unless your name is Ant Mullen.
He's surgical.
We all miss those. I just don't see
he's
right now. And again, teams are gonna get better, right? The Lakers are gonna get better.
Yeah.
But are they gonna get better is the big question mark because we've seen LeBron, which I've made a fact, and I've been consistently saying this. 3 out of the last 4
He said I made a fact.
It's true. It's a fact. I
manufactured a fact. It's an alternative fact.
LeBron's been hurt 3 of the 4 years in the Lakers jersey. The 1 year he wasn't hurt was the bubble year when he had 4 months to rest. He's had injuries, and how has LeBron bounced back from injuries? He's going to be out for 2 months. And then you have a point guard in Russell Westbrook. So who else is beating the Warriors in the Western Conference?
Carl Coulanges, founder of the Facts.
Tell me, Utah, Greg. No, Greg. Seriously, tell me who else is a formidable contender?
So what I can tell you is, I am saying it is far too early to tell.
Hold on though. Assess the landscape. The man's asking you to assess the landscape as it is now. Who could you see?
But listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. As it is now, you cannot assess because there are still big time injuries out there. And we come to me at the All-Star break.
When is Kawhi coming back?
We don't know.
Thank you. Done. Next. Phoenix.
Come talk to me. The Phoenix can compete.
I'm gonna do this fair and go through the rosters. Phoenix.
What I'm telling you is
that's not answering.
Like you said, teams are still figuring it out.
Hold on. Real quick. I do want to bring this up, and you might say that it's not comparable, but you were ready to book the Rams like once they had Stafford, right? Like you're saying it's too early.
I'm with them.
That's a very early assessment. Hold on. It's a very early
I didn't book them as Super Bowl winners. I said they're contenders. That is what I said.
I said they're going to the finals. I said they're going to the finals.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Guys, I view contenders
Ray
as like
Jarvis has been
playoffs,
telling me no.
not just
I said they're going to the finals. I said the Warriors are.
I think it's too soon for that. I've said the Rams are Super Bowl contenders, and I said I would love to see Matthew Stafford get to a Super Bowl. I didn't say they were going to get there. That is what I said.
You did say they were contenders.
Get on those trends.
I feel like that is no. I think you did say contenders. I feel like it's very soft stance for somebody who's as high.
Let's go through the West, right? You got Phoenix. You believe in Phoenix again?
Yes.
No, because last year you guys told me that they made it to the finals because the Western Conference was hurt. That's what they said.
Don't come on our show. Don't come on our show telling us what they said. Tell us what we said.
You did say that. You made a whole argument about how if this player played, they'd have a better chance of winning. We made that whole argument.
That doesn't mean they weren't going to win officially.
Exactly. Just because we made an argument about ifs about a debate.
So you still believe in you still believe in Phoenix making it to the finals?
Yeah, Carl. The whole West is wide open right now. The Warriors could lose 3 out of 4 and be in 6th place or 7th place. It is too early to tell. Give me All-Star break, then come to have this conversation with me.
When Miami started there, when the Heat went on their 10-game winning streak, did we not know that they were going to the finals back then?
Wait, you talking about this year's Heat?
No, the Heatles. I'm talking about the Heatles. When the Heatles went on their run,
like LeBron
to start. Yeah, when they were 9-8 to start.
I mean, when there wasn't parity in the league.
Right, but again,
I'm saying because of the newfound parity in the NBA, it is very hard to say, well, this team is definitely going to the finals.
Carl, so what's your finals prediction then?
Oh, it's the one that we all want to see. We all know what it is. It's Nets Golden State. We all want to see it. That's it. Nets Warriors. How fitting is it? You have and coach confirmed it too because we both said it, right? How fitting is it Kevin Durant faces his old team? Come on now, we all want to see it.
It's good headlines.
That would be insane.
Sure. Great headlines for the media.
And Harden's in it.
Why wouldn't you want to see that? Come on.
Hopefully,
yes, Carl. The Suns are a legit threat.
I don't think.
I hope they make.
I'm sorry.
To be honest, I need to see CP3 get a ring.
I don't mind. I don't mind the early take. I hear you coming from Greg. It's a little bit too early.
Of course, you don't mind the early take. You said they were going to get 72 wins.
Hey, bro. Bias aside.
So Greg, let me ask you this question.
Carl's making good points.
Listen, let me ask you a question. There's no NBA season you've watched and said, yeah, that team's going to the finals.
Carl, are you listening to what I'm saying?
In November. There's not enough parity. And you know what? I'm going to dispel this entire thing about the Western Conference being tough. The Eastern Conference is tougher to get out of than the Western Conference. And I'm saying that right now.
In general, yes. I could believe that. Yes. There's way more parity in the Eastern Conference. And Carl, what I'm saying is, I said because of the moves that big players have made, it has evened the playing field. When the Warriors and the Cavs were going to the finals every year, you knew that in preseason because there was no parity in the league.
In 15, I don't think we knew the Warriors were going to make it. I'll be honest. 16, yeah. 16 and on, but 15.
Okay, 15 I'll give you. But 16 and
he's
on.
Right. He's right. Yeah, they got bounced out by the Clippers.
15, I was surprising. Yeah, 15, I was surprised that they actually made it. But 16 and on. But I don't know, man. I just feel like I said, when you see Steph Curry playing the way he's playing right now at the MVP level, Wardell is playing, boy. It's a beautiful sight. And the fact that Jordan Poole improved. Draymond Green is back to playing. They got
Gary
Andre
Payton
Iguodala
needs
back.
more minutes. Gary Payton second
Payton
needs more
definitely
minutes.
More minutes. So they have the bench. Clay hasn't played yet. I think they got the formula, man, and it's very tough.
I hope Clay could fit back seamlessly. I know it's a lot easier for a catch and shoot guy to fit into an offense like that. Yeah. So I do want to say Clay do well, especially because people think Reggie Miller's better than Klay Thompson, but that's neither here nor there.
That's another conversation.
All right,
I think Clay's going to fit in good.
Before we move on to any other sport, I want to hear from all of you. Who are some of the biggest surprises thus far you've seen in the NBA? Give me at least one for me. And Greg, I'll start with you. Biggest surprise you've seen from a player?
My biggest surprise?
Yeah.
I don't know if I would call this a massive surprise, but I gotta go with RJ Barrett. Shout out to y'all Knicks. All right. He's taking that step that guys were looking for from a first round draft pick that a Kevin Knox never took, that a Frank Ntilikina never took.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with RJ Barrett. Shout out to the Knicks fans that are excited again. I wish you guys the best.
I'm sorry. Every time you talk like that.
You know what I didn't get when the other night when the Knicks came back from 24, Tom Thibodeau went with the second team offense like the whole way through. Randall was on the court.
It seems like they pushed. I'm not pushed. Well, yes, they pushed the ball more, and there's not a lot of ISO ball with the second unit.
Yeah.
So
Heck, who you got? Sorry, Greg. I'm just trying to get this thing moving.
Yeah, who's like kind of surprising me a bit is not necessarily surprising me, but I really feel that he's going to take the jump, really make the jump this year. Greg's been on it all along, but Lonzo Ball, I think he's really fitting into
the I was gonna say Lonzo, but I was like, nah, that's too easy for me. Let me go a different route.
Well, you know what, Greg? I don't know basketball like you guys, so that was way too medium for me, honestly. But I thought he fit really. I think he fits in really well with Zach LaVine and DeRozan in that Bulls offense, and I think they're going to be a dangerous team. And I really do believe also, in Greg's take, we've been agreeing a lot lately, but I really do think that the Hornets can make a run this year.
Wait until
I think they're that team that might be a year too early that falls short, but shows a lot in their run to get to where they were.
Hold on, real quick. Ziggy's in the comments said, put some respect on Andrew Wiggins' name. I think people have come to expect these kind of numbers, like he fits in with this offense. I don't think people saw him taking a step back.
He's another one too, man. I'm telling you, what is a lethal, buddy?
Carl, are you becoming a Mike Miller? Are you becoming a Warriors fan? Is that what you're doing? Is that what's happening?
No.
That's not what I asked you, Carl. That's not what I asked you.
No, I love my team. We already know what it is. We know the vibe. Listen, I got a Celtics calendar on my desk. Come on, let's not do that. All right.
Oh my God, I just figured it out. Carl wants to get a Steph Curry trade to Boston, and that's
not at all.
He's lobbying for something insane.
No, not at all. I just love watching him play, man. I just appreciate great play. That's all.
Carl, who you got?
Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is my guy. Definitely averaging 24. He had a 48-point night game. Yeah, 48. Yeah, that young boy is coming, man. I think Minnesota needs to get rid of some of their pieces, but Anthony Edwards is definitely one.
Yeah, they don't have a winning formula yet, but he has been playing very well, and the leadership as well. I like the leadership coming from a second-year player. Calling out the other his big three or his big two, I should say. Sure. It makes sense to take that next step, not just as a scorer, but as a leader.
I don't know how I feel about Cat in Minnesota.
So this
trade into Boston, baby.
You want to know how I know Carl didn't play fantasy last year? Because if you played fantasy, you would know that Anthony Edwards was that guy. He was there in terms of scoring and things like that.
Yeah,
he just was under the radar because he played.
He's averaging more now. Yeah,
but he's still accelerating
now.
I
can see that.
Yeah, for sure.
He took the next step. And I'm actually going a different direction now. The biggest surprise for me has been Isaiah Stewart, Beef Stew. He's been so bad. He has been awful for a player that was showing a lot of promise last year in Detroit. Look like he was going to take the next step this year. He's regressed. He just hasn't been a presence on the boards. He has not been a scorer. Not that he scored a lot last year, but at least he would give you double-digit points. So
yeah,
he's going right now tonight. I just checked. He has 4 points and 9 boards. That's a big deal because it's early in the game. The last time he had 9 boards and it wasn't at the fourth quarter. Like I couldn't tell you. It was like 2 minutes left in the fourth. He had 9 boards, but probably once this season. He has not been as dominant as he can be. So I'm hoping that he picks it up.
Real quick,
so Greg, let me ask you this. So by what month would you say you know who's going to the finals?
I just said, catch me at the All-Star break. Carl, have you not listened to anything I said today?
I'm just making sure. I'm just making sure.
He zones out.
He's got like transmitter headphones on right now. He's not even listening.
I don't listen to when Greg speaks. That's why I have to.
Really?
I don't. I just want to
shout out to Peter in the comments. He had another good one. Tyler Hero definitely rebounded.
Yeah.
I didn't see it coming. I didn't draft him because I didn't see it coming.
20-some points, 24, maybe 20, 25.
There's a lot of good games out there. I will say there are a lot of good games, a lot of young talent out there. Definitely watch some basketball. I mean, the league is great. It's great to watch these young guys.
Peter's on it, boy.
Hey, before we move on, look at that. Let me breathe, bro. Let me breathe. All right,
about
Peter?
the Cowboys?
IPO. No, not about the Cowboys. Let me breathe, PO. All right, so I'm gonna give you guys.
We would never succumb to a Cowboy.
The VIP fantasy basketball update. So Basketball Jones was down to Peter's team. You see how he's fiending in the chat if you guys are looking at it. I was down 7-2 on like a Wednesday, Thursday. My team, actually Friday, it was 7-2 on Thursday. On Friday, I came back and tied at 4-4. And then on Saturday, my team shot the bed and Peter's team took off. I ended up losing that matchup 7-2. Peter is now in second place. I think you are. Then let me know if you are. I think it's second place. But it was a rough week.
Me and Peter are going at it for first place in our division right now.
Yeah, above average. That is Peter's the name of his team.
That's the name of all
and they
his
had
teams,
more people
actually.
than me. It's huh?
I said that's the name of all his fantasy teams. Yeah.
Get a little bit more creative, Peter, but I'm just saying. But he had more people going than me this week, and he had some really good pickups. I'm pretty sure he picked up Drummond earlier in the week, which was a great pickup for him once Embiid went down. So shout out to Peter. He got a dub. My first loss of the season. Won't be my last, but y'all gonna see me in the postseason for sure. All right. And I'll give y'all the update next week. Carl, sir, we're about to move on to football. I assume that means you're leaving.
Yeah, I just want to say that I think we should develop a segment about Hall of Fame. I know that's been a topic of discussion, and I think you guys are disrespecting the NBA basketball. the Basketball Hall of Fame, and I'm here to defend it because we all want to say that everybody gets in, and I think that's factually incorrect. Not
NBA, in terms of all the major sports, well, hockey, nobody cares about the Hockey Hall of Fame.
10% of the league gets in. Just letting you know that.
Again, in comparison to the NFL and the MLB, the NBA has been because it's not the NBA Hall of Fame, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Correct.
That's what makes it easier.
I think people don't seem to understand that concept. So
but that's what makes it easier. Because you
could
have a great college career, but an NBA career, and you could be up for consideration.
Right, but there's nothing wrong with that though.
They're very lenient.
Right, absolutely. But this is why we need to have a segment.
We do, because a lot of people just sit there. Oh, everybody gets into the Basketball Hall of Fame.
All right, Peter, you need to relax. I'm taking out all the Polius. You need to relax.
He spelled our name wrong. Actually, I'm not gonna let that
Facebook fly. Comment section. He's gonna get
zucked.
I'm gonna get zucked.
Make sure you guys come for Travis because he's been doing a lot of shitty stuff lately. I may have to throw out the first suspension because he's out here. Yeah. First he disrespects Cam, then he's talking about Cousins. And he's just all over the place.
Mind you, Cousins went on the road and got a dub.
That was the Cousins slander.
That was out of pocket.
Yeah, he's all over the place, and he's just like he doesn't make
my thing is you could think Kirk Cousins is a watered down, high level, game manager, but the fact is you went on air and you shat on him, and then he went and sealed a deal in the road victory. Like it wasn't because of Dalvin Cook they won that game. He threw them to a victory on that last drive.
Yeah.
You guys enjoy, like I said, we could definitely collaborate on the Hall of Fame segment. I definitely want to do something like that.
Facts. I'm coming for your head, bro.
For what? I'm telling you what you need to. You don't listen. That's the problem. You don't want to listen.
The guy comes on, doesn't hear anything I said.
You don't listen.
Hold on. This is a sign off. All right, you keep going.
I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm out.
Catch you later. All right, so we can move on to football now, and I want to talk about the Tampa Bay Bucks, because did anybody take Washington yesterday at all? Was anyone thinking that was the upset that was going to happen? Going into half, that Tampa Bay would only have 6 points.
Yeah,
a few people mentioned it. I think I heard, but nobody actually picked them.
No, Paul and Reynald said it's a trap game for Tampa, which Travis said absolutely not, and essentially called them crazy.
Hey,
Did
well,
Travis
they're looking
leave
like geniuses now.
Did he leave the pick'ems, Travis?
Yes, he did leave the pick'ems. Travis did leave the pick'ems.
What?
He left the pick'ems because he, in his words, we're not picking by common sense because picks are locked after the Sunday show. And he says, well, if there's an injury in the 4:30 game, he wants to be able to change his pick if it's a significant injury. And when he was like, I was like, does it stop at quarterback though? What if, say a Trayvon Diggs is out? Are you going to change your pick? What if a top running back is out? He said, yeah. And I said, that gives too much room, too much wiggle room.
It can't work like that. It has to be even across the board. That's weak. That's weak, Trav. I'm sorry, bro. You are messing up a lot. You need to clean it up. All right. But yeah, this was a surprise matchup. Was not expecting to see Heineke come out, and even Antonio Gibson, who's been a ghost pretty much all season. He has not been present at all. We know for our fantasy team, but for those that have him in fantasy, I'm sorry. But yesterday, if you played him, he gave you 2 touchdowns and 60 plus yards, which is great for his production. But Deck, I'll start with you here. Is there something that you gleaned from this that the Washington football team exposed about Tampa Bay, or is it just a fluke?
I think really the one thing I did notice that Washington was doing a really good job with, which is surprising given how Heineke doesn't have so much NFL experience, being undrafted and kind of not playing until he's 27. But he made the Tampa Bay defensive line look undisciplined on Sunday. They were jumping on every move.
Some nice hard counts. Yeah.
He got them with the hard count a lot. And that was something I really took away from that because that's 10 yards at a clip, which really when you're trying to grind out a comeback against a team that is better than you on paper and has been all year, you got to really take advantage of the mistakes. And they did a really good job of capitalizing off of Brady's turnovers and really using the momentum off of some conversions to get the win. I mean, it came down to a late touchdown that sealed the. So, I mean, it was a really great win. But do I think that it exposed them? No, I just think their defense is maybe a little bit more human than we thought. But I still think they're the top team in the NFC right now. Listen, everybody's been human this year. The AFC bug is translating over to the NFC now.
Yeah, but I mean, every team looks at game tape, right? So I'm curious if there is something to glean from this game that Washington did that other teams have not seen yet. Greg, what are your thoughts?
I honestly just think it was a bad game. I mean, also a shout. I'm not gonna say it was an entire fluke because a 10-minute 19-play drive is not a fluke. Yeah. They really grinded on that drive. But shout out to Peter once again in the comments. I believe that missing AB and missing Gronk is starting to show. You know, Godwin and Evans are usually the ones that take the top off, and you have Gronk in the seam working the seam, and AB working underneath. And Tyler Johnson, he's not that guy. He's not AB.
It's really hurting Leonard Fournette's production underneath.
Yeah.
The running game is not able to get going like it was, and the offensive line is good, so there's really no excuse for that.
Yeah, I think Tampa's dealing with some injuries. When they get back healthy, I think they'll be fine. And what is this? Only their second or third loss?
I want to say so. I can pull
it up. It was.
No, I think it's their third loss. They lost to the Rams. They lost to the Saints, and I think this
is their third.
They'll be fine.
Right now, what are they? The third or fourth team in the NFC?
Yeah, even if they have to play on wild card Saturday or Sunday, I don't think it matters.
They have the division under wraps, and they're going to go far.
Yeah, 6-3.
Yeah.
Reynolds, fake news in the comments.
All right, I'm going to move on.
Definitely not going to stop the Giant game. That's for sure. They're not winning that one. Brady's not losing 3 times in a row. You can bet the house.
Moving on to the Panthers game and the return of Cam Newton, the man himself.
Look at the headphones.
And also, true, I like the headphones. The revival of Robbie Anderson, because that man looked like his career was about to die in Carolina. And all of a sudden, Cam comes back and, 3 or 4, he had 8 yards on the touchdown, but his presence was felt throughout the game.
Absolutely.
And the way they worked him in.
Even on the sideline leading.
Greg, do you have Cam starting next week?
I actually do. Just because PJ Walker couldn't really get into the end zone. He had a lot of meaningless yards. But Cam's big playability, especially in the red zone, I think we're gonna see, and just you could tell Cam just fits in Carolina. This is where he belongs. I also think that what do you call it? The taunting or whatever penalty he got in the end zone.
Helmet off.
Yeah, man. Listen, I didn't even care about that penalty because I felt every bit of energy that he had after celebrating that, because the league basically told him you're not good enough to come back.
Pretty much.
Until it was a last ditch effort. So I felt that. I felt all that energy. I loved it.
Deck, I was told that there needs to be a clarification on your feelings about Cam Newton. Is that true?
Yeah, that is.
Please, the stage is yours. Then I'd love to hear this.
Sure. Yes. So I was never a huge didn't like Cam or whatever. I just thought that Andrew Luck was
we all
better,
know.
and he kind of spiraled and whatnot. But really not spiraled, but just I wasn't like a huge Cam fan. And then I did think about it, and even earlier in the week, I was watching a lot of highlights of him with a couple of my buddies, and just thinking about Cam and that era of football. And then I got really excited when he was brought back because it just reminded me of like 2015, man. Like that was a great era of ball. Like Peyton Manning phased out, sure. Brady was on his good stuff, and Cam Newton was the MVP. Odell was dancing. The Legion of Boom was alive and well, or I guess a little bit on the come down. But that 2012 to 2015 time period, just my favorite era of football. And you look back on some of the big names from it. Obviously, the Bradys, the Wilsons, the great defensive players on Seattle, and Ray Lewis retiring and whatnot. But Cam, Kaepernick, Andrew Luck, of course. Eli was even good. The Giants were watchable. Romo and the Cowboys. So obviously Aaron Rodgers doing good. So it was one of those things where I look back on it and I'm like, who embodies that? And Cam Newton is the trailblazing figure along with like Odell and whatnot that kind of embodied that era. And I'm just happy to see him back in Carolina Blue. And plus side, he's so much more fun to play with in Madden now because of how long he was gone. And now it just seems right.
There's always a portion of Dex like his opinion that is influenced by Madden. It's Madden. It's like influenced by Madden. Like you're either happy or like unhappy with a player based on how they'll play
their Madden ratings.
Yeah.
I always criticize Madden ratings because I don't know how Baker Mayfield's still an 83. Like Madden must be looking like 2 years in the past.
Greg, your response to that, if you have.
It seems like Deck was a victim of media slander because we all know Cam Newton was slandered in the media. He was called a thug because he celebrated touchdowns. He did the Superman dance. People wrote articles about him, quote unquote, having a baby out of wedlock. Like there was just a lot of poor comparisons.
Yeah.
And people trying to bring him down.
Stuff.
Exactly. So I think Deck allowed some media critiques to get in there and sully his judgment.
Yeah, I think honestly the most passionate game I've ever watched football was in 2015, that Norman and Odell game, and I think I just grew to root against the Panthers so much, and then I did like the Broncos and Peyton Manning.
Are you talking about the Giants and Josh Norman?
Yes. The Odell game. I think I was because I knew Eli didn't have much time of like valuable football left, and he was throwing 35.
He was gone by then. It's okay.
No, he threw 35. He threw 35 touchdowns that year. They had a top 5 offense, so they were really good. If they had the defense, they had a year back. But I think I just grew for that rivalry, and then there wasn't much of a rivalry at all after that. But it was just a fun time watching football, and I'm glad Cam's back.
I'm glad you got that off your chest. I'm glad. And Paul, if you're watching or when you watch this, I would love to hear your thoughts as well.
Paul,
Lawson.
Oh yeah. He gave me a shout out for the debate. I did hear about that.
Yeah. Oh no, it's not. It's less. I mean, it is about you, but it's just your Cam take because he was someone that was always all over that. Yeah, so I'm curious.
He was also not, too supportive about Cam either. So him and
no, that was Travis. It
was both of them. Like they were not always consistent. Like I think Patriots Cam.
Hey Paul, jump in these comments. Somebody add him. Speak on it, brother. I'm gonna move on though.
I think I just said Mac should have been the guy, and it's his fresh.
Before the season started.
And I think that might have been it, but yeah.
Maybe. Well, like I said, Paul, if you're in the chat, please let us know. If not, you can send it in the VIP chat because I'm curious. Greg.
Yeah.
Browns, Patriots. That was a great face. I like that one. That was memeable. I like that one. You got. I'm gonna set you up. Baker Mayfield is what again, exactly?
Take it away.
He's not that guy, pal, as of this week.
So it's funny. Garrison actually did this too. It's funny because I always say Baker Mayfield is not that guy, but everybody always adds the pal. I don't say that. I just say he's not that guy.
Yes, I mean, it was a
But
moment.
the pal fits. It fits. I'm for it.
That's what it is.
And what I say on Friday said Bill Belichick, he is going to find a way to just confuse him. And that's what happened.
Bill Belichick.
I mean, he should have. I was kind of upset that they hawked that touchdown from Dearness Johnson on that first drive. But after that, Bill made his adjustments, and Paul Lawson said he faked his injury in the end of the third quarter because he didn't want to go back out there.
Yeah, Baker started off really good with that first touchdown, and then he threw a bad pick, and it all just folded. I mean, Cleveland was done. And credit to Matt.
Jared Goff-esque.
Yeah.
11 of 21, 73 yards, touchdown and into. Like, it's ugly football.
Totally. And I think that it's one of those things with Mac. Like, I'm trying to figure out why he gets knocked so much at this point in time. Like, Mac Jones right now could be the offensive
slow and steady.
Yeah. Doesn't turn the ball
really
over.
Good.
He makes the simple.
You know what it is? Steady, man.
Mac started real easy. Take the simple throws. Don't try to do too much. Manage the game. And now they're opening up the playbook for him, contrary to what Travis said 2 Sundays ago about the Patriots not making big plays down the field.
I think Mac Jones wasn't even the best prospect, but I think it was just that fit of bringing him in to New England with that staff, learning that way. I really think sped up his development 2 years.
I could see that.
I think it took out the part of, because the Pats built up in the offseason and it was confusing at the time, and now it all really makes sense. Like, they built up for this team to be decent enough to where, like, Mac Jones doesn't have to go through those 2 losing seasons that a Zach Wilson or a Daniel Jones did. Right now it's Andrew Luck and Dak Prescott, even Russell Wilson.
You said Zach Wilson real quick. I'm sorry. There's only 1 losing season so far.
Right. Well, I guess I was preparing. Sorry, I was prepaing for
Sam Darnold.
Yeah, sure. I guess you can add Zach.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that threw me off. I was like, wait a minute. What
but like, no, they're going to start
speak it into existence.
Yeah. Well, starting their careers off with
I get what you're saying.
On a bad team.
Yeah.
Mac kind of skipped that, and that gets you over the hump to where you kind of start as a Dak level guy, and you're already there now building up.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. I will say this about Bill Belichick and just how he develops quarterbacks, because, I mean, we've seen it time and time again that these quarterbacks come into the Patriots system and it works. I mean, Cam is someone that came in and he's just different than the prototype that you usually see for Belichick. Also injured still.
COVID, I mean.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm saying like last year. But Garoppolo, like he got paid based on what he did when he was in New England.
Yeah.
And it's time and time again that we see Bill doesn't necessarily have to have the most talented quarterback or the person behind center, and he just gets it done. And Mac Jones is a great development for him because the slow and steady part it's working, and they take their shots when they can. Confidence is key in any sport, but especially at quarterback. And I think they just give him these high percentage passes that he can make. And as the game goes on, he just builds.
You're going to go broke taking a profit. These plays down the field are really up close. The rollouts, the little underneath routes, the half field reads, similar to what they did in Dallas with Prescott. So I really do like this mold, especially it works with late rounders and it works with high rounders.
All right, let's move on, though.
We got time.
Yeah, we do. And, Deck, I'll start with you on this one.
Sure.
Are the Chiefs back?
Yeah.
Do you believe after that game that the Chiefs are back? Because they gave it to Manny's Raiders. I think Manny, he went to bed early. He had to have.
He was probably steaming. I mean, really.
Definitely.
Yes, for sure. I think
who Manny is? You guys remember what was the Inside Out? Is that no, not Inside Out? What was the movie?
Inside Out with the little anger. It was Anger.
Yeah, that's Manny.
Steaming. Oh, of course. I mean, that's actually, he should have played that for Halloween. That should have been his costume.
That would have been a funny costume. But yeah, I think Mahomes is back. When you have a game like that, all Patrick Mahomes needs is that one game to kind of reverse course, because he is as good as he is. Listen, we all knew the talent was in the bottle. It didn't get released until last night. And last night, it got released in excess. 5 touchdowns, completely obliterating the Raiders secondary.
406 yards.
I mean, I think Arnett did a good job of obliterating the Raiders secondary. Yeah. So,
listen, it was one of those things where I believe in Derek Carr, and I think the Raiders team is going to compete, but I really do believe that the Chiefs are back, and that I said it early on. I maintain that stance. Mahomes is going to finish this year, and he's going to approach it rather soon. He's going to wind up in our top 5 list.
Oh, I'm sure. But Steph, what happened last night that I said needed to happen? Andy Reid revamped his play calling, or Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah,
you know, they weren't constantly
give that man his credit.
Yeah, they weren't constantly trying to go down the field with these 5 and 7 step drops. They were taking the underneath with Kelsey. They were allowing Tyreek Hill to run the little drag routes and work in space and do what he does. And it opened up the running game a little bit. And to my dismay, Darrell Williams had a really good game.
I mean, and I think that's a part of it, though, that he is in the passing game. He had 9 receptions
for 101 yards and a TD.
They haven't really utilized him in that way. And I think that is going to be key, because when you have, 2 safeties over the top and you're going to give that middle, he can be that safety valve for Patrick Mahomes, and he was last night. So I agree with you, Deck. I think you're spot on. I think we're going to see more of this moving forward, and the league's going to have to readjust now to KC again. We'll see if that happens as quickly. I don't imagine it, but you're right. Maybe in the top 5. And as we talk about top 5 now, let's get into it. Deck, I'll start with you. Who are your top 5 quarterbacks this week? But before you start, actually, Greg, I do want to say Lamar Jackson.
Shot the bed. Whole team, whole offense.
Okay, I wanted to give you a moment. If you wanted to speak on it, that's what you're going to say. That's it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Deck, your turn.
Very Brady-esque after the game yesterday. I'm going to go with, at number 5, I have Dak Prescott. He really rebounded strongly after the game last week. Always nice to see. That's where I have him. At 4, a guy I've maintained being in there is Aaron Rodgers. I think that despite one really a tough performance, tough conditions, coming back off the vaccine, well, not the vaccine, the whole COVID stuff and whatnot, I thought it was tough. So he's at 4 for me. At 3, it's Josh Allen. Right now, Josh Allen isn't a better quarterback than Matt Stafford at this point as we speak. Stafford, I have at 2. I think that right now what he's done and what he's going to do tonight against the Niners is going to cement his status as one of the best quarterbacks in the league and the Rams' status as contenders. I really believe that. I don't know how busy Odell's going to get, but I just think the offense is going to be nice and opened up. And at number 1, I have Tom Brady. Listen, he's had 2 bad games, but that's really kind of brought him back more level to the pack. But I still have him number 1.
All right.
So Lamar goes from 1 to 5 on my list. All right, drops down to 5. I do think he will have what you said.
I said that's consistent. I gotta hand it to you.
Yeah,
I think he will bounce
ready to kill you.
I got. Is it possible to my 3 and 4? I think are very interchangeable, but being because they both kind of wild out yesterday, but I think I'm gonna go Josh Allen at 4, Dak at 3, only because I think Dak has been more consistent against better teams. Against tougher teams. I think that could be I think Josh Allen could be 3 next week, depending on how he performs. And
it's close. Yeah.
Splitting hairs. Tom Brady stays at 2. And my guy, Matthew Stafford, I think he's going to show you guys why he's the number 1 quarterback.
1.
No,
he wasn't 1.
2 weeks ago, I had him at 1.
Yeah, I was going to say he was not 1.
2 weeks ago.
Okay. So I mean, I'm excited to see him tonight. For fantasy purposes, I really want him to go off.
And thank you to Peter in the comments for agreeing with both of our lists.
Oh, Peter agrees. Nice. Yeah. I'm glad when he's on point.
We're happy when Peter's happy.
All right, so to get mine real quick, I got Lamar at 5. I had him at 3 last week. I got Dak at 4. Josh Allen at 3, which is probably the highest I've had him so far. And I know it's an easy team. The Jets have just been historically bad. And he did everything he wanted to in that game. But I just, it's good. It's good to see Josh Allen, a player like Josh Allen, have a game like that, because he should against that type of the way the defense has been playing. Matt Stafford at 2 and Tom Brady at 1. That's not changed. It hasn't changed really yet. I do think it can be interchangeable, Greg, at some point, but I'm still going to give it to Tom Brady at 1. Just the consistency, and even with a bad game, I still got him at 1.
So historically speaking, that was a defense in Washington that Tom Brady should have shredded, but he didn't.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I mean, Tom Brady is not the one that loses to a team like the Washington football team.
Real quick, as you touched on the Jets defense, Rob Saleh got called out by Rex Ryan, and deservedly so, because What I witnessed yesterday was one of the most putrid displays of defense, like in my entire history of watching football. We know Stephon Diggs is arguably the best route runner in football. If not the best, he's top 3.
Yeah.
You had a third string corner, single coverage in the end zone. Josh Allen was probably just laughing. And he doesn't get the touch on the first time. And then you run the single coverage back out there. And to make matters worse, after, another pick, they throw out single high with no safety help over the top. And it's just like, I'm not even a football coach. I shouldn't be able to see this. And you're on the field and you can't see this. Do we need to send Salah up to the box too?
I was just about to say that.
Like, come on, man. The hell is going on?
It was Stephon Diggs' best game of the season, I think, because he's been pretty quiet.
It was
season long.
He ate yesterday, and as he should when he goes against third string corners, second and third string guys who have no experience guarding a receiver of that caliber. And then to make matters worse, they had Emmanuel Sanders on when he started going off. It was just bad, man. I can't even.
Yeah, I think what is it? They've given up. Was it 700 something yards? Over the last few games,
they let the Bills, who have no running game.
No,
all I saw was running lanes for Zach Moss and Devin Singletary all day.
Yeah, no,
and then all of a sudden there was a Matt Breida sighting, and he had a good game.
Well, twice, yeah, right. Like he actually had an amazing game. Everyone on their team, pretty much, with the exception of Knox, because he's on my fantasy team. Of course, he wouldn't have a great game.
Naturally, some nice catches. I see. Listen, I think that Salah, with what's happening, we knew exactly what was going to happen with the Jets. Listen, I think Rex Ryan, Salah hasn't done great, but I think Rex Ryan is just completely out of bounds, and I think that's just something
that's typically where he lives.
We got to just get used to as a society, because it's always the same stuff. Like, dude, you made Fireman Ed quit, number one. Let's just not talk about how bad the fall down was from when you went from the AFC Championship to just putrid. I mean, we've seen them get blown out by many teams worse than the Bills and better. Few and far in between. Todd Bowles wound up succeeding in his first year after he left. So
and what would you call succeeding?
10-6. Listen, they had one bad game. You said they were going to the Super Bowl. I think that would be enough to call them succeeding.
No. Why do you? This is what happens when you
miss
the car.
You can't say that.
But what I no. I said
that's not me being combative. But
no, I didn't say you being combative. But again, you guys throw these things out there without giving it. I said if the Jets did not turn the ball over against the Bills, they had a chance to make a Super Bowl run because of the red zone offense that they displayed that year, and they had a top 5 defense.
Yes,
that is what I said.
And that's about Fitzpatrick. And I will.
Jesus Christ, man.
No, I mentioned it.
Misquotes left and right.
That's a measured take. But regardless of what you're saying, that right there is enough after going 6-10 or 5-11 or 4-12, whatever it was with Rex, to come back, have your quarterback punch in the jaw in the locker room in preseason, have Ryan Fitzpatrick come in and have a historic year. Yeah, they folded in week 17. It happened, but to just even be in that conversation is enough of a success in your first year.
That's fair.
I think it is fair. I'll just say that Rex is a blowhard. He loves a headline. He was like that when he was here, when he was with the Jets, and as a commentator now, analyst.
I liked when he said, "Let's eat a snack." That was fun.
That's a great line.
I like that one. I mean,
my thing is, I can understand to a certain degree where Rex is coming from, because he was successful with the Jets, as you said, 2 AFC championships that he got to with Mark Sanchez, and that defense, as well as a great running game. And the end of his tenure was not great. There's a lot of just poor defense, awful offense. Like, this is a defensive mind, and he was
fired before the Bills game.
Yeah, he did. But I will say this: I don't agree with that critique of Robert Saleh right now, just because it's his first year, right? It's his first year there. I think that it's been very rough for him, and we could see that. First year coach, he's going through it with a first year offensive coordinator. Like, he is going through the ringer right now, and the Jets are not good. They're historically bad, but it's uncalled for to go for the jugular like that, the way the Rex did. But in true Rex fashion, that is what he goes for. That is exactly the kind of headline he wants to make in order to stay relevant.
Good for what he said too.
Yeah, his response.
Real quick before we get to the game, I got to give an update on me and Travis's fantasy matchup. So yesterday, I went at the end of Sunday, I was up 111 to 101, and I should not have been. But the same Mark Ingram that Travis traded, I picked up off waivers, and he put up 22 points yesterday. And so I have Cooper Kupp going while he has Van Jefferson and George Kittle. So I'm up, and Cooper Kupp already has 1 reception for 2 yards. So I'm up 113 to 101. I win this. I take sole possession of 4th place, I believe, in the league after starting 0-4. And it proves me right that my team will be better than Travis's.
Real quick, who's left on Karan's team from that trade? Is it just it's Sutton at this point, right?
No, he traded Sutton to Peter.
Wow. So everyone's been shipped away then.
Yeah, Karan is in 11th place. Dropped. Yeah. Oh no, he still has. No, he never traded Gronk. He never.
No.
Yeah. Everyone's
gone. And what does he have to show for it? I mean, and Pook, like, I got love for you, but that trade.
He's 3-6, and he's currently in 11th place. And he looks. Pat Mahomes went off him though. Pat Mahomes got 57 points, and he might actually help me out and beat the 2nd place team. So
despite his efforts to be the worst team in the league, he's gonna manage to win. I'm happy for you, Karan.
wait, he scored 149 points, right? I think.
Sorry.
He had
Stafford just doing intel.
Oh, we know.
It was a deep pass. It was a deep pass for Odell Beckham.
We know Jared Carter's in his house kicking stuff right now.
Oh, that guy.
But he has Matt. Pook's opponent has Matt Gay and the Los Angeles Rams, and he's down 9 points.
I love you guys. I respect this fantasy league, but if I'm gonna prefer that over the sandwich.
Hey, now okay, let's do it real quick then. Monday night football is going right now. Deck, who do you have?
Oh, I have the Rams, despite the interception.
Yeah,
despite the intel.
Yeah,
Rams all around.
Travis would argue that an interception that early while on the air could constitute a potential pick switch.
Ooh, I love that amount of shade. That's nice.
I miss
really good. I don't know, man. I think it doesn't sound like you're missing them.
No, I do. That's why I mentioned him. There's an over-under prop bet for Odell. My dad just texted me at 19.5 yards. That's just
really
wow.
But that is not going to encourage betting. But.
All right, Deck, let's wrap this up so you can go and get some dinner.
Much respect. Great show, guys. What a blast.
Yes. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to all Hit List content on YouTube, Facebook, and IG. The handle is SportsHL. Again, that is SportsHL. Coming up, you're going to have the Fan Zone tomorrow at 5 p.m. with Manny and Mike. Make sure to check out them. Eminem, always a great show. And then Wednesday, we have Boss Man himself on the live. Greg, you going to be there? I just feel like I have to ask that every week now.
I don't know. It's a possibility.
Might be a surprise. You guys could always be surprised by Greg being on there. All right. There's a good chance.
Especially Carl coming on the show and just lying.
Well, I thought that might be a big reason why. All right. But we got live show on Wednesday, and we're back again Friday, 4:30 to 5:30. Be sure to check us out. In the meantime, enjoy tonight's game and have a great week. We'll see you.